I'm a little late. We're a bit late on the draw, right? We're doing a mukbang today. Okay. I am not on Discord. Halloween is haunting my Discord, so that's fine. Somebody added me in the Let's Play thing, which is unfortunate. And that is true. That is a good point. Okay, so what am I doing? Copying. We already copied. What's the word for people who are on time to things? This is a word I'm very unfamiliar with. Something. There's a word for it. Go back here. Need to check for any updates, which there probably are at this point. Maybe not. Classes got updated at some point 2 days ago, but that could have been before or after I updated 2 days ago. So let's update this. And good. Yeah, I slept in until 8:30 today, and then I didn't have any food in the house, so I needed to go buy something. My stomach's actually been very sensitive, so I didn't really want to make tacos this morning. Anyway, so getting something that's easy to eat and is just bread, so it's easy to digest, seemed like a good idea. I'll have some real food for lunch. But let's see here. I think we are golden. We've done our link share, etc. Yeah, I think I made the right decision actually in not streaming yesterday. I ended up getting a bunch of symptoms after like stream was supposed to have started. I actually ended up getting a migraine. When I decided not to start stream, it was just because I was tired. So it's like, oh, well, I don't need to keep wearing myself down because I've been tired for several days. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend today relaxing. And it was a good idea to do that. And then I started developing a migraine a few hours later. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Fair. So, today we are going to blow some stuff up, I assume. That's what we do. That's what we do here. That is our purpose. We can put on our headset. But yeah, today I feel like refreshed. Now, admittedly, I slept, an hour and a half late. But just because I didn't sleep an hour and a half late doesn't mean that I'm going to be waking up refreshed, Okay, we have 3 levels of experience. Except you, for some reason. Presumably because of the class quests. Wait, why are you eligible for less? Because you're not getting class experience at all, are you? Even when you're getting promoted, you're not getting the bonus EXP that is given to that class, I imagine. That would be my assumption. Because I assume that each of the different class quests are worth a different amount of experience. But, okay, so we've got this thing. Did we leave ourselves with an inventory management situation? Is that what we left ourselves with? Ugh, disgusting. Who is this guy? What's he doing? Okay, so this 2 days ago, Arctole, real bastard. Real son of a gun. Didn't he end stream early? Gross. He ended stream early and left me with this problem? Total douche. Can't believe it. Imagine that guy. Imagine that guy.
Welcome. A quiet room, you say?
Doing that guy things. Okay. So this is a legendary. This has Arms Master on it. I think these are safe to sell.
We can outfit you.
Alright. We have a war camp map. We need to hold on to this Arms Master bow. That's actually going to be really clutch and important. Do I actually want to make... Yeah, I'm going to do that now. We ain't in a rush. People saw that I didn't stream yesterday, and 9 o'clock came and went, and people were like, you know what? Probably not streaming today. I'm going to go wander off and do something else. But they were wrong. They were wrong. Oh, no. Would I do a no-call, no-show? Yes. Yes, I would. But did I do it today? No. I actually I was intending to start up on time today. And then, I did the whole staged, I've got, some bread in my mouth as I start the stream thing, whoops, I'm on camera now kind of deal. But that was exactly the position that I was in when I looked at the clock and saw that it was already 9:08, and I was like, wait, it took me how long to walk downstairs? Shit. I thought I had time. Integra? Yes. Yeah, we don't need to walk 10 feet. That's fine. Okay. So this is that. All right, we are going to make a thing that I'm going to start shoving my weird, random, non-legendaries that I think might be particularly valuable. Mostly... Yeah, let's do this chest. So what we're looking to put in here is stuff like this. This has Arms Master on a bow, which, again, we might allow ourselves to use bows eventually. Once we finish the game, we might allow ourselves to equip bows and not worry about the incidental damage that might come out from them. Because bows can do incidental damage periodically, and usually I reload if it does incidental damage. The reason that I don't ever have bows equipped is not because I'm not allowed to equip them for the stats, but because if I equip them for the stats and then I accidentally shoot an enemy, it feels like I'm not respecting the game just crashed. That's rude. Alright. Alt F4 is not working. I don't understand. So I'm curious about this. Why does anybody know this? Why is it that if I look at the bottom of my screen, full screen games don't appear on the taskbar of the other screen? Why is there a desync between the two taskbars? This is my question for you. The taskbar doesn't have all the tasks on it. It just has some of the tasks. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's weird. Okay. Hey, Umber Witcher. Perfect timing, right as I'm crashing. I'm doing great. Yesterday I made the executive decision to not stream, even though the only thing that I had going on was that I felt tired. And then I developed a migraine after that. So it's like, you have that like feeling of like, heck yeah, I made the right choice. I made the right choice. So you have that. And then I slept in late today. I say not deliberately, and then I remember that I actually did wake up and then at like 8:30 and then go back to sleep going, it'll be fine. And I woke up like 3 minutes later and went, wait, that's not fine. I need to get food. I need food for me body. And yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I feel very well rested. It's very nice. So, let's see here. Yeah, I tend to underestimate. Recently, I've been much better rested than I was for basically my entire life. And I tend to underestimate how losing some sleep over the course of several days, like losing a little bit of sleep every night for several days, actually meaningfully impacts my functionality. And so I tend to forget that. And then I do something about it. And then I forget about it again, because I'm cool like that. Alright, so I think what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to put down a beacon here, because we can. Yeah. Getting used to being, like, extremely sleep deprived is quite harmful because of the fact that it, like, once you're used to it, you just don't think about the fact that you could feel great right now. Like, you could feel well rested. That's a thing that could happen. And so you don't realize that it's like, oh, actually, maybe the reason that I'm so tired is not because I'm sick or some sort of psychological issue or, I'm stressed out about, the upcoming election or, whatever nonsense, right? Maybe the reason that I'm so tired is because I got 3 less hours of sleep over each day than I probably should have, but which is well within normal, parameters to feel fine. But I did it 3 days in a row, And that doesn't feel fine anymore, actually. That doesn't feel good. And also, that was how I felt for large portions of my life. And it's actually not good that I felt like that for large portions of my life. That was bad, and bad for me. Yeah. Well, I'm more talking about like physical symptoms than the emotional symptoms of just like, man, why am I so tired? Why is it that I'm having trouble like focusing on chat and focusing on what I'm doing in stream? And it's like, is it the ADHD? Did I take my meds today? And the answer is yes. Was the answer yes 2 days ago? No, it wasn't. But that's the other thing. When you're sleep deprived, it's easier to forget the meds. But then even when you take them, you still feel like you have ADHD. Which is true, because you do still have ADHD when you've taken your meds. But that's beside the point. You feel like you have unmedicated ADHD when you're sleep deprived. I say you, I do mean me. I actually don't know if that's a generalized experience. I have no idea if that is normal. I know about my ADHD. Yeah, I that's the thing. I'm getting the caffeine. It's not like I'm not getting caffeine. Though yesterday it was very sad. It was very sad. I didn't used to have like a strong opinion on like Coke Zero versus Pepsi Zero. But once I decided to form an opinion on the two, where I was like, okay, I think I slightly prefer the Pepsi. Once that had happened, oh man, like you're drinking the Coke Zero, I'm like, oh yeah, there was a reason that I made this decision. It doesn't taste bad, it just tastes weak. It literally, like, the way that people describe, like, watered down coffee tasting is the way that I feel Coke Zero tastes. Which is interesting, because Pepsi Zero also kind of tastes like watered down Pepsi to a degree, right? But, like, it handles it better. I think it honestly might be that I just have a very slight preference between the two. I'll take whichever. I don't give a shit usually. Like with the real stuff, the stuff that has sugar in it, the stuff with that high fructose corn syrup. Actually, none of it has high fructose corn syrup here. But usually, if I'm drinking Pepsi or Coke, I'm actually doing it in America. I don't drink either while I'm here usually because I have
Can I help you with anything?
better things that I can be doing with my time. It's kind of like a fallback thing when like I'm at a place where I can't get
We don't need this. Let's leave
where
it
I
behind.
want to get a soda and can't get Mountain Dew. And usually here, I just don't. When I'm eating at a restaurant or something, I'm just not. Because I'm not dehydrated while I'm here. I'll drink a shit ton before I leave the house and when I get home. So I'm not dehydrated enough that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get a drink at this place that's going to cost me 3 times what it would cost me to just buy it by the 2 liter. You know, I don't blame people for having physical addictions. Having physical dependencies is not a thing that I really hold people to account for. Let's see here. But I don't consider coffee a bad habit. I mean, I take my caffeine in a slightly different way. I think there are advantages to taking the caffeine slowly over the course of the day as a component of your standard like liquid intake, but there's also disadvantages to doing it that way. And like it's not like soda's bad for you. So overall, it's probably better. Like from a health perspective, it's probably better for you to drink coffee. But I can't drink coffee. Coffee flavor is upsetting to my palate. Like whether it's in like whether it's in coffee or it's in candy or it's like a slight little bit of coffee flavor on the edge of like a baked good or something like that, anything that has that like bitter flavor that I associate with coffee, anything with that, I don't like bitter things generally, but like anything that has the bitterness of coffee is something that I am thoroughly not going to enjoy. Like I don't like tiramisu, right? Don't tell my wife. She knows. But let's see here. Ooh, nice. We have another Arms Master bow. I like it. My wife really likes tiramisu. I'm not big on it. And it really is just because of the
See anything you want?
the coffee flavoring. I just don't like it.
Thanks a lot.
I don't like coffee. I don't like vinegar. I don't like mayo. You'd think I'd never be able to survive in Japan because it's like, oh yes, you don't like mayonnaise. Well, good luck. It's like, you know, you can get by. So you can just eat a lot of curry. Just eat a lot of curry. It's fine. It's all fine. I'm curious where Japanese curry comes from, actually.
See anything you want?
It's useless.
Is that like an independently created dish? Or does that come from... Ooh, there's no way Japanese... Does Japanese curry come from... Does it come from the conquest of India? Did they ever actually... They did, right? Japan conquered India during World War II, right? Because I think Japan basically took all of the holdings over here.
Thanks a lot.
This is wild. Realizing that I don't actually remember the history of World War II very well is a truly just baffling thing for me. Because I spent so much of my teenage years just like buried in World War II media. Because I would watch like the History Channel and stuff like that, and all they would play would be World War II stuff. And I played like Axis and Allies because my dad got it, and I thought it was really cool. Because like Axis and Allies was the first game, like the first board game that I played that was like complex in the same way that a video game is complex, right? Because like when you're a millennial growing up and like your parents don't play Dungeons and Dragons or something, which is a very niche crowd at that point, like people my parents' age who would be playing Dungeons and Dragons, that was pretty niche at that point because they were too old for it, right? Like I think Pong came out when my dad was in college or something. I think that's a very common like trope. Is just like trope is not necessarily the right word because it's a thing that people are doing in reality, but yeah, like hopping soldiers up on drugs before sending them to war is a tried and true method of like getting them to pull the trigger, which I imagine for most people is the hardest part of warfare. Like there's a lot of really bad stuff in warfare.
See anything you want?
And the hardest part
Thanks a lot.
of getting a soldier to do their job is not the physicality of it.
See anything you
It's
want?
not the
Need a new weapon?
whatchamacallit.
Thanks.
It's not like the fear. That's not the hardest part, I think. I think the hardest part, the fear actually makes it easier. Because the hardest part is getting a mostly normal person
See anything you want?
to just do a murder. And because like bear in mind that like you could just not be there, you know? On-screen celebration. What is that? Is that a new thing? Does it do something? What does it do? Do I have to do something? What is on-screen celebration? Is that a new Twitch thing? Okay, on-screen celebration for right now. He's gonna be eating a pizza, eating a roll. Hey, not Chill the Viper. Oh god, do I have to eat two at the same time now? I think that's what that means. We're dual wielding rolls. I mean, we're kind of single wielding. Ooh! So now I have two rolls. We've like squished them down a little bit. Nailed it. Let's turn in our Wyvern Horns. We're doing inventory management. This is great. I'm nice and relaxed. I don't feel... Weirdly, when I'm tired, I'm actually more on edge, right? Holy shit, there's a big... You can make those big? Yeah, I don't get rolls much here. They don't just eat bread rolls, like the normal style bread rolls here very often. It's fairly common to get like what I describe as the plastic bread. But there's like certain types of bread. You get a lot of bread in Asia, and I will say Asia because it's common here and it's common in Japan. And so I'm gonna generalize because there's a lot of places in between here in Japan, and there's not really a lot of places outside of here that are outside of the in between space. Now, does the physicality of these being far away? Oh, there's a bunch of cool shit you can do. Oh, is that the train thing from the hype train? Interrupt? No. Different train. Gotcha. Why does the golem say that? That's not my golem. That's like the golem from the thing. A little unusual, but. Like this is a golem that's on loan. Let's see. But yeah. So anyway, they have this like kind of bread that I'm not really that fond of. That I refer to as the plastic bread to, you know, make my wife annoyed. To annoy my wife, I call it the plastic bread. Because you know you just don't get a lot of the same kind of bread. You can get like it's like you can get the French bread that's more like classy, and you can get the plastic bread, but like the cheap American style bread that I'm used to is not as ubiquitous. I'm in Singapore. You can still get it, obviously, holding it in my hand, but it's not like you can get it in one of the most common grocery stores in the country. Mm-hmm. Does turning in bones reduce your reputation too? I don't remember. I remember I used to stockpile both the cobra eggs and the thingers. thinking that they both reduced my reputation, because I turned in a quest that reduces reputation at the same time that I did Cobra eggs at one point. Like, when I would do my pathing, that was the standard thing to happen at the same time. So I was like, oh, my reputation got reduced. Well, it couldn't have been because I was talking to this weirdo guy in the inn. That's the quest that the game tells me to do right at the start. Singapore's an interesting place. For my part, I tend to find culture fairly uninteresting. I would say the thing that I find interesting is the commonality between people. That's the thing that I find most interesting. And one thing that I do find very interesting culturally is the way that the same fundamental guy, like this is the same guy, and what is the flavor on that, right? Like this person who exists across all cultures, what is the set dressing on that person in this culture? Because I find that like people are pretty similar throughout like everywhere that I've ever been to. Like people are pretty similar. They're engaging in pretty similar behavior. If you're just talking about people like hanging out in a town or a city, right? Obviously, people at a war front are not the same as people who are not on a war front. But like outside of like really major like lifestyle differences like that, people are pretty much the same. And I think that that's a very cool thing about humanity, is that we're both very adaptable and honestly like real similar. Like we adapt to basically any environment, but the ways that we adapt are so efficient, right? Like when we adapt to an environment, we adapt in the laziest way that requires the tiniest amount of editing away from this default template. Which is not to say that all people have the same default template. It's that within a given group of people, I feel like people tend to take on roles within that group. And as they take on those different roles to larger or lesser degrees, you end up with pretty similar stuff being replicated in most places. There's obviously differences. And obviously the fact that, you know, basically everyone lives in. Well, you know, but no, a lot of the archetypes I'm familiar with aren't really tied into like capitalist architecture either. So like, you know, I spent a lot of time on islands where nobody is working in the modern economy to any meaningful degree. And you might go, wow, what country were you in that people were so isolated from the modern economy? Wow, what is this magical country called? And the country is called Miami. It's not called Miami. It's the Florida Keys. But you want some people who are kind of like fundamentally disconnected from the modern world, just go out across the bridge into the Florida Keys, and there's a pretty big disconnect between what's going on there. Now, that's reduced a lot over time. Like, the modern economy has gotten all the way out there. But, like, because of the space constrictions, they can't really have, like, a Walmart, because a Walmart won't fit on any of the islands. So it just changes things a bit. Like, they'll have CVS and stuff like that, but they don't have the They'll have a CVS, and the CVS will have a bunch of chickens
Thanks.
just walking around the parking lot, which is not a thing you typically see in Florida. Let's see. I think that in fantasy, the humans as like kind of the generic, like adaptable ones, weirdly is derived from like Tolkien's specific hatred of humanity. Like, I feel like Tolkien really, really hated the Industrial Revolution, which, I mean, fair, right? The Industrial Revolution came with a lot of bad shit. But like, Tolkien's as like the adaptable one, humans as the adaptable ones, while like elves are these unchanging fey creatures, is very Tolkien. With not even just elves, but also like if you think of like the hobbits, right? If you think about the hobbits are also
See anything you
like
want?
within the context of Tolkien's work, the hobbits are basically like supposed to still be the same
Anything
today
you want?
because there's reference to like somehow Middle Earth being the same world that we're in today. And is that in the Hobbit? Maybe I think that was probably in the Hobbit, but basically there's reference to like these fey hobbit creatures sort of like existing on the periphery of society that indicates that like the only things that have adapted to the modern world are humans, right? And that is tied in with like Tolkien's, you know, apparently very negative opinions about the general trend of humanity during, you know, God, when was he alive? I guess maybe the whole World War I into World War II thing maybe caused him to have some opinions about humanity. It seems to be a common trend for the writers at the time for some reason. I can't imagine. Let's see here. But, yeah. Heart of the Water. Wait. Why didn't we have the Heart of the Wood? Did we not do the Ranger quest? We didn't do the Ranger quest. I'm a dope. Okay, so we can teleport over there and do that whenever we want. Do we want to do that right now? Oh, we can do that right now. Okay, let's just pop over to Tuleria. Wow, am I glad that I randomly checked my inventory and decided to start getting stuff actually done. Completely forgot the Heart of the Wood. Did I actually grab the quest, though? No, the quest is in Bracada, I think. So, hey Dracatos. Sleeping is good. It's very good, in fact. I appreciate that. Oh, we haven't reached Hunter, that's why. Oh, right. That's funny. We haven't been to Avley yet. Ugh, we haven't been to Avley. Okay. That's pretty funny. Let's go. Oh, wait, there's a store in Castle Harmondale. Well, I can't save in here, but I mean, I can. I can only save 5 times, though. Sounds like a plan. Alright, we have these bones. Do we need to care about our reputation? Like, I could just TP over to... I could just TP over to Eel-Infested Waters if I wanted. Let's just turn in these bones. We're currently liked. We don't need to worry about our reputation, right? Oh, what day is it? It's May. I think it's June is the middle one. It's either June or July. I don't remember which. Let's see. Yeah, let's turn in the bones. I think that this is the one that drops your rep. That this one actually does drop rep. Can you imagine if you had these two competing religions who are explicitly genocidal toward each other, like the light and the dark people? That came out wrong. The Church of the Light and the Church of the Dark. Also doesn't sound super great, but like slight improvement. Okay, so I lose a tiny bit of rep, but not a lot. Okay, perfect. Actually, do I just use... I lose the number, is it? Okay, yes, I think that's... Fame is the one that's... the thing that just goes up. Okay, so we've got that done. We have a legendary Battle Hammer of Darkness. We'll load back into Castle Harmondale. Let's go to our place that we have our legendaries. And we had a hammer here that we don't need to copy over. And let's go ahead and save it up. So we have 4 hourglasses. Yeah, now that I'm awake, like, looking at my inventory here, I'm like, oh, maybe we should do some inventory management. I don't know how obvious it is, like, the difference between me just, like, vamping and me, like, I think that's the word, and me actually, like, being intellectually focused on what I'm doing. It feels massively different internally. So, did not feel great about my inventory management stuff that I was doing the last couple of streams because I was just like, well, I don't feel like I'm accomplishing anything here. And I'm just gonna put this here because for now I don't feel like it's super likely that I'm going to use it in a timely manner. So. Do we have more? Are there more chests in here, or is this it? The 4 chests here. I think I already used all the ones over on the side down here. Let's get out. But, oh, okay, this one isn't. That's great. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to move these lich jars into the quest inventory.
There's no room. My pack's full.
And put some stuff in here. Can't put you in here. I can. Nice. Okay, that helps a lot. Wait, this is a legendary inventory. Swap to you. We have Ulysses and the Vampire's Cape here. The Vampire's Cape can go into the one that we were just in. And we have space for Ulysses upstairs. So we'll worry about the details later. For now, we're going to put this in here. Because I think that we'll just be using this for now. Okay, we have this trident. We don't need to get rid of this because we might decide to yoink that at any given moment. Do we need... It's a 5% DPS boost. Don't think we care about the 5% DPS boost that much, so we're going to ignore that. And this is a fairly mediocre belt. Saturday sound effects. You know, impressive. Impressive translation. Impressive. We do have Excalibur. We can't put it here. We're going to put away Excalibur. Once we put away Excalibur, we can... We can run into a wall. Okay. So, Lich Jars go here. With the other Lich Jars. We also have some notes to put in with the other notes. Note. We have some cheese. We can put the cheese in here. We have genie lamps we can start working on. I don't think we're gonna roll for genie lamps. I think we're just gonna, if we have 5 of them, we can, where the hell did I put my, there's one. Yeah, I feel like it's the only Dragon Ball Fighter that I've ever played was like at a friend's house 20 years ago or whatever. And it also had RPG elements to it. It feels like if you're making a DBZ fighter and you don't have RPG elements in it, you're not really fully utilizing the setting. Because, like, training is such a primary component of the thing. No, we turned in the cheese quest already, but we did a map on one of the cheese places, so we have a second copy of the cheese. Which also means if we can find the Dragoon Stronghold place, we can actually get a second harp, because the harp is a usable instrument. So that's going to be one of our primary goals for the run, is making sure that we can get another copy of that harp. Okay, so... Oh, excuse me. What do I want to do here? I think it might be time to do a Gigasaur. I'm not going to drop off my keys in these chests because of the fact that they're keys. I think the keys are a thing that I should just hold on to anyway. Oh, there's a log of Elden Brew here. And look, this is not organized correctly, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We didn't establish that the bookcase was for book stuff. We didn't establish that. Let's see. We've got our control cubes. We've got the mist thing. Oh, and it has like a custom character builder as well. I don't think there was a custom character builder in the one that I played. I remember really enjoying the custom character builder in one of the Dynasty Warriors games. I'm trying to remember if it was the Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors. I don't remember which it was. It might have been the weird, like, mixed one. Was it like Musou Warriors or whatever? That was a fun series. Let's see. What do I... It checks out. Probably I can put this in this box. Not this box. This box as well. I don't think I'm going to be equipping those right now. The legendary effect isn't powerful enough to justify equipping, and it's not... I don't need so many gauntlets. Like, it's not like rings where it's like, well, I can invest in this ring because I'm never going to replace it completely. It's very reasonable to expect to get like 6 gauntlets eventually, so rebuilding a gauntlet that doesn't have a legendary effect I care about is not a great idea, I don't think. So we now have to do something here in 7, which means we should probably dive into the pit and head to... I do appreciate that in the pit we town portal right next to the dinger. Bald for the win. Let's take a look here. We've got... Let's go. Bald is a good look. It's very striking. It's a very striking and cool look, I think. For both men and women, like I think that it's just like generically a good look. Oh, there's a ghost that respawned or something. Oh right, these were the ghosts that got trapped into the floor. They got summoned underneath the floor, I think. All right, so we're gonna do Castle Gloaming, and once we finish Castle Gloaming, we can. I don't assume that someone who is bald, or like I don't assume that someone who has shaved their head is a member of a white supremacist group. That's not a thing that I do make the assumption of. There's a lot of people who are bald. There's obviously the visual association, but I don't think it's actually a strong one in practice. Yeah, I get you. It's sad to feel like you have to make the clarification, you know? Like there's just you know. Imagine like co-opting an entire hairstyle for your weird, you know, your weird hate group. Weirdly, I don't actually even know, like, specifically, like, what hate group that's associated with. Actually. Like, you hear the term skinhead, right? Which refers to, you know, like, Nazis who shave their head. And it's like a specific look, but is it like... Was it in a movie or something? Or is it, like, actually associated with a specific hate group, like the Proud Boys or something? I actually don't know. Yeah, it's not a term that like people use much these days. It's very much like a, you know, our generation thing. But I mean, also like it is a derogatory term for a Nazi, and you don't. Let's just say derogatory terms for Nazis are not necessarily in style right now. So. It's kind of the opposite, But but yeah, the other thing is that I actually don't know if it even was originally a Toronto term. It's possible that they actually that was like a self-label until people started picking up the label. Because like there was the like TERFs will say that the word TERF is a slur, and it's like, you came up with it. Just because everyone sees the thing that you did and goes, oh wow, that's terrible, that's bad, I don't like that at all, doesn't mean that it's a slur. Let's see. So it's an actual, like, the skinheads were an actual political movement. Interesting. Or were. Presumably still are. Hey, let me guess. Really common in Washington and Oregon? Really common up there, famously? That's interesting, though. I didn't realize that it was actually a movement. Which makes the parallel with the TERFs, like, real strong. TERFs are not generally Nazis, but a lot of the leadership of the TERF movement does actually get along with Nazis. And some of them are literally Nazis. It's funny to hear someone who's like talking at a TERF rally say that they're not a feminist, and it's like, isn't this a trans-exclusionary radical feminist rally? What are you doing here? Why is this person given a speaking role if they loudly proclaim that they're not a feminist? Metal's superior to punk. What? Oh, I missed the... But punk is... I would associate metal with long hair. And punk... No way is punk actually popular with skinheads. No fucking way. Is that true? Isn't punk, like, fucking socialist music, basically?
Tis but a scratch.
Hate rock? I don't think hate rock is punk. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like rock. Wouldn't that be rock, though? Is it rock or is it punk? Ah! Gotcha. It's very bizarre to... I mean, I guess it makes a degree of sense, given, who's involved here. Because, like, Nazis are not exactly well known for their, like, artistic capacity. But, like, it's very funny to me to think of, like, we're gonna, like, create a musical genre that is actually not a genre of music at all, and doesn't follow any, like, coherent scheme other than it's about hating brown people. And women, probably. Yeah, I don't know a ton about punk, because punk was very much like a British thing when I was growing up. Like, because I think that punk was mostly a British thing for a long time. The punks didn't really hit in my high school, like... There was not a lot of punk, I don't think. I think the closest thing to punk would probably have been like the weird ICP people. What are they called? It's not clowns. I remember I had the name in my head a couple weeks ago because I had mentioned. Yeah, the Insane Clown Posse has like there's like a name for the group of their fans, and I'm trying to remember what the name for their fans is. Is it Juggalos? Is Juggalos them? I think Juggalos is what the Insane Clown Posse fans are. I think Juggalos is the ICP fans. Very YouTube coded, actually. The like ICP having this like weird random name that you call their fans. That was true like in the pre-internet age. I mean, technically the internet existed, but you weren't like sharing cultural, touchstones like that on internet forums at the time. People who were on internet forums were mostly talking about things that they couldn't talk about in meet space with people, and ICP's way too mainstream for that. But I think that ICP is the closest thing that my town had to anybody really listening to punk. And I don't actually know. I don't actually know what genre of music it is. I don't really know anything about it. Because I think that there was like the one song where they go, ICP, going insane, and that's all I know. That's the entirety of my understanding of their musical oeuvre. So, we're making progress. We're actually at 62% already. We haven't fought a single boss yet. But the numbers there are, like, a lie, to be clear. Like, we're not actually as progressed as it looks like we are on the thing there. Because we're missing out on... The only thing that I remember about Korn, other than the fact that they had the name Korn, Korn had better be an American band. Is American? It's an American band, right? Because I feel like control of the name Korn should be trademarked by the American government, and okay, not necessarily the American government. Other American countries can use it as well, right? Obviously, like not the Canadians, but anyone in Central America, anyone in South America. I actually don't know. I don't actually know. Is corn grown in Canada? I figure it's a little bit too far north, but I think they have a lot of cornfields in northern U.S. too, so it's possible. From California. Yeah. So, the only thing that I remember about corn, I got distracted by my random association of just being corn, is the South Park episode with Korn, where Korn was like the Scooby-Doo gang, and that's it. That's all I remember. Ooh, a Thorn's Lich King. Okay, this is concerning. I haven't saved, and the AoEs from this thing can definitely hit me, so... but we should be fine here. We're not taking too much damage. Thorns is way less threatening than it used to be. Especially with the party setup that I have. Okay. So we cleared those. We are going to need to roll for barrel. Let's see. See, and then there's me. Then there's me. The thing that I like in music is I like good music. That's my thing. This is an informed simplicity thing. When I was a child, I would say, you know what? I pretty much like all good music. And then people would say to me, you're, culturally, associating certain types of music with good, and you have no actual taste, and you don't know what you're talking about. To which my reply would be, no you. And now, as an adult, having experienced a wide variety of music from every genre under the sun, and some from subterranean depths that have never seen the sun, I can safely say, man, if people in the genre like the music, I generally think it's cool. I think there's like a couple of specific like subgenres of music that I specifically dislike, but literally most music that like people like, I like, and it's really like that simple. If you, whether the people involved are like, the general public, or just like, yeah, the 100,000 people on the planet who are familiar with this genre of music, I like most of it. My guess would be that the thing that attracts me to music is it probably has to do with like the math involved, and the math involved in musical genres. Like musical genres are all following the same principal rules of music, right? Like this shit ain't new. Like it's all window dressing, right? So like, because of the fact that it's all window dressing on like fundamental musical principles, like if the fundamentals are correct, right, it's going to sound good to the human ear. And if the fundamentals aren't correct, then it's not, and it'll sound bad to the human ear. But people do have a lot of like cultural associations with music, and they have preferences for that window dressing. And I just don't really. I just don't have that strong of a cultural association. I am curious how much of, because this is also true for food and stuff like that, where like if I'm eating like cuisine from a culture, right? Generally speaking, I'm going to be able to find something that I like, because it's all built off of the same basic stuff. It's all built off of carbs and this and that and the other thing, right? We all have the same tongues. We all have the same ears. So like, there's stuff that I don't like, but there's no like type of food that I don't like, if that makes sense. Like, there's no like culture where they don't have food that I like. That's not like a thing. Like people will go, I don't like, Thai food or Indian food or something like that, and I'm like, how? Like, you sound insane right now, right? Now, to be fair, I will say that generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of most of the Chinese food that we have here. But that being said, they do also have, like, you know, the whole black pepper, you know, variant of dishes, which are really good, and I really like them. The issue that I run into with Chinese food is that there's a lot of vinegar and stuff in them, and I specifically do not like vinegar. But the ooh, Levitate works here.
Ooh,
I was thinking Levitate wasn't going to work
let's leave it behind.
because it was my understanding that it
Let's
doesn't
leave it
really work
behind.
very well outside of 8 on Merge Mod, but it's working right now. And that means that we can blow these up. Nice and cozy. Yeah, part of it probably just comes from, like, my, like growing up, like, wandering all over the place. Not really all over the place, I didn't go that far, but the, when you grow up without a, like, set, like, culture, because you're just, like, growing up in a variety of different cultures. And this is actually not even talking about, like, different countries. I mean, I was in the Bahamas for a couple years, but, like, I'm talking about, like, the boat people culture versus the versus South Florida versus like Minnesota. Like the cultural differences between those different areas are pretty massive, right? Like people tend to think of like America being like a country with a culture, and it's not at all that. Like, I mean, it is a country, right? But it's not like... It's so far from being a cultural monolith. Like, that... Oh, shit. Well, it's a good thing I just saved. Because I think I'm going to die here. I might be able to burn my way into here, but I don't think I can now. I made a mistake here. I thought this room was empty for some reason, and yeah. But it's interesting also because like my dad like really enjoyed cooking, and so like. I didn't know that chicken teriyaki was Japanese until, like, I think basically until I was an adult. Because it was just a thing that I'd been eating since I was a little kid. It's just one of the things that my dad makes. Right? And, the version that he makes is not, you know... The version he makes is the version he makes. As with all cooking that your parents make, it is very much